Well, in these economic challenging times, risk management is more important than ever. There's two basic elements to risk management. One is to preserve value. The other is to create value. And you certainly don't want to create an environment or a culture within an organization that results in organizations not taking risk or missing opportunities. Generally, what companies miss when it comes to managing risk is the big picture, or the dashboard of critical risk factors. I personally call it the desert island list. If you're trapped on a desert island, what are those critical risk factors for that particular enterprise? There's generally three categories: strategic risk, operational risk, and compliance risk. What we hear all the time from senior stakeholders, such as the C-suite or the independent directors of the board, is organizations focus heavily on compliance risk. SOX 404 is a perfect example of that. However, when you think about the broader aspect, to really embrace the preservation of value and the creation of value when it comes to risk management, the strategic and operational risk factors are really what the critical factors are, and that's usually what's missed. Strategic risk is within the headlights of the organization. Where is it going 2-3 years out? What does that strategic plan look like, and how does risk tie into that in a very simple, concise fashion? And then when it comes to operational risk, what are those critical factors, critical few, that really could affect the organization's brand, the organization's core values? The initial steps in really focusing on the missed aspects of risk management are really identifying what are critical risk factors in those three categories of strategic, operational, and compliance. But more tangibly speaking, how to do that. For example, many public companies disclose critical risk factors across all three of those categories in their 10K or public filings. Many times organizations don't connect the activities in the organization that are currently happening to those broader categories of risk management. That allows senior management and the independent directors to have that critical dashboard, to focus on what's truly critical and important, and to really steer the organization to a state that is rationalized when it comes to risk management. Regulatory hot buttons are yet to come when you think about risk management, but two industries come to mind. Clearly, financial services and what happened in the credit crisis, and then other industries which are at the top of the list of governmental policy change, such as healthcare, perhaps life sciences. But when you think about risk management and how it's going to be affected, it's what we talked about earlier. Having senior stakeholders, being the CEO and the C-suite, as well as the independent directors of the board, have a dashboard, a critical few list of the risk factors that span strategic, operational, and then compliance. And really, what is the essence of the organization's value? How do those things relate? I'd like to think that organizations that do it right and embrace the essence of where the current regulations are and where we anticipate some of the proposed legislation, such as the Schumer Shareholder Bill of Rights, which is really focused on the big picture of risk management. It's a real opportunity to rationalize risk management activities. That's a very common question, and there's a lot of debate about what happened, what are the lessons learned from the credit crisis. In my personal view, organizations did not have the big picture in terms of the stakeholders did not have the big picture of what the critical risk factors are. Many organizations certainly focused on more detailed aspects of risk management, but missed the bigger picture of the industry. That's the strategic or operational aspects that we talked about before. Who are the counterparties? Some organizations did it very well, and as a result got through the credit crisis very effectively. Others, as we all know, were very challenged, and many do no longer exist in the industry.